Scientists has finally unlocked the secrets of an ancient Greek computer made 2,000 years ago. It's taken scientists more than 100 years, but they finally discovered the Antikythera Mechanism is a device for calculating the motions of stars and planets. It took sophisticated technology to decipher more than 2,000 inscriptions on the complex device of gears, wheels, dials, and scales. Amazing stuff.
Nature publishes a second paper on an ancient Greek mystery, the Antikythera Mechanism. This promises to revolutionize our understanding of the history of technology and astronomy, and it even tells us about the timetable for the earliest Olympic Games.
If it hadn't been discovered when it was in 1901, no one would possibly believe that it could exist because it's so sophisticated. It is, in a sense, you could describe it as being the technological side of the Greek miracle that created so much of our Western civilization. Price developed a model of how the mechanism worked. It incorporated one feature, an ancient cycle of the sun and moon called the metonic cycle, which was absolutely critical to later understanding. It's one of the basic keys for understanding how the mechanism works. He also identified in the mechanism some epicyclic gearing, that is to say, gears that move with their axes moving on other gears. A completely astonishing revelation for ancient Greece was that the machine is an eclipse prediction machine. It has a dial which follows this ancient eclipse prediction cycle called the Saros cycle. If you have an eclipse in 1 month and you look 223 months later, you will get a very similar eclipse, whether it's of the sun or the moon. And this repeat goes on for 12 or 15 centuries. It's a remarkable cycle. Let me just show you this one. This is sort of from inside, and I'm going round through and out to show the Saros dial. This is the Saros eclipse prediction dial here. You see, and you have to reset it, obviously. This little dial here, which is we call the Exeligmos dial, goes around once every just over 54 years. It's a triple Saros, so every time you go round this dial, you go round one of these sectors. The numbers in these sectors tell us how much time to add to the eclipse time in the glyph when we go round this dial for a second time for Eta and a third time for Iota Digamma. It's a little hour adjustment. So we now know what the function of this little dial is as well.
Lovely.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Another small dial stars in the latest Nature paper.
The Olympiad dial was a very exciting part of our work. So in every year of the cycle, there would be 1 or 2 of these international games held, and the mechanism is showing for the current year which are the games to expect. A 4-year cycle is a bit of a surprise on the mechanism because it doesn't really have an astronomical function. It has a cultural function. It was the timing for the games that the Greek cities organized in major cult centers at 4-year or 2-year intervals, like the Olympic Games, which are not events of any scientific significance, but they're events that were of enormous social significance in the Greek world.
What we have now is a mechanism which is, as Price said, a mechanical calculating machine. It calculates cycles of the solar system, and it does it in a beautiful and brilliant way. Price's model was a complicated model doing simple things. We have a complicated model doing complicated and extremely sophisticated things in a design which is pure genius.
It is fully at the top level of what we know that ancient Greek science could do and ancient mechanical technology could do.
I sit for days looking at these x-rays and I find these tiny little clues about how it works and what it did, and I'm still astonished by it.